This seems to be the new trend nowadays that people want you to rent their house without even seeing it. And I talked about that before, I believe, but now it's getting really, really out of control. Like a lot of people, almost 60, 70% of the people want you to rent the property without even seeing it. Now, just to be fair, there's a lot of good landlords and a lot of companies that insist that you must see it before you even put an application because they don't want trouble. They're not trying to trick you. But there's a lot of crooks out there as well. And here's an example. As you see, this person, we communicated before a lot. I'm cutting this. I don't want to put the address or anything, so it's not personal. I'm just giving an example. Here he says right there that unfortunately, when I asked to see the property, unfortunately, I'm in New York now. You can pass by it and you can judge by the photos. And I'm going to tell you just a couple of things about that. Now, everybody got their own comfort zones, but in my opinion, um, assume this. You rented this property, let's say for 6 months or a year, and you pop that door open and you're going to see the spots on the carpet and the pictures that he has taken maybe 2 years ago when he actually renovated this apartment. Or you pop that door open and you smell the dogs and cats that were in the apartment. I've been in a place where they were cooking for like over a year or 2 years, extremely smelly and ethnic food that the moment you pop the door open, you almost pass out. That's how strong that smell is. And there's nothing anybody's gonna do there and then. I've been in that situation. You can put all the things that they're going to tell you about smelly things in the AC. You can use the ozone machine. I mean, short from ripping the carpets, especially if you have carpets, and trying to strip or paint, you have to do some kind of treatment to the wall because, or the walls in general, because once they absorb that smell, it's not coming out in a week or 2 or 3. It's going to be almost at least as long as it took for it to absorb that smell. So I caution you greatly against renting anything, especially for a long term. I mean, we all do it when you go to a hotel. You never seen the room. It's a day, a week maybe. Hey, it'll pass. But when you're trying to sit there, and especially if you have a U-Haul truck with your stuff, you pop that door open. Now what are you gonna do? You're gonna leave your stuff in the truck and go find somebody and you try to recover from that screw up. You don't want to do that, in my opinion. Again, everybody got their own comfort zone. Mind you, know, when somebody tells you I can't even show you the apartment, what's gonna follow is this. They're gonna tell you you have to fill an application. So now you're giving your data to somebody that you never met and you don't even know who they are, right? So you're giving them your birthday, your social security, and all that. Now assume they're not. Assume they are right. They're gonna write you a contract, maybe, right? And you might not like the contract, but you probably some of them will have you pay like 100 for an application, right? And when you see the contract, you lost that money. Some actually will not send you the contract till you send a holding deposit. I've been through that situation, which means if you don't like the contract, and they will have up front that if you get approved and you don't execute the contract, you're going to lose your holding deposit. And the holding deposit sometimes could be a whole month. So now you are between a rock and a hard place. Either you're going to have to move forward or you're going to lose $1,000 or $2,000 because you gave him that deposit. On top of it, let's go back and assume this person is a crook. Now, what are you going to do? I mean, how is he or she going to give you the keys to the apartment, right? They're going to ask you to send checks. They're going to ask you to send, most likely cashier checks, and they're going to promise you once they have them and once that's cashed out, they're going to send you some keys. Well, if you don't receive the keys, what's your recourse? What are you going to do then? Who are you going to chase? You're done. So make sure you know who you're dealing with. Hopefully a reputable company locally, or if it's a landlord, go and meet them in person, in their house, in their office, whatever. Take your ID, show them your ID, see their ID, make sure that you know who you're handing your data to, and what is gonna come next, and make sure you understand the process, when they're gonna put somebody in the house or the apartment, how fast they want to move, all that before you even attempt to give them any of your information.